Mr. James Mejia.
That's 5 of my seconds, you guys. My name is James Mejia, and with your support, I'd like to become the next mayor of Denver. I'm 9th of 13 children. As a native of Denver, born and raised in the Park Hill neighborhood, and one generation after both my parents were the only ones in their family to make it to college, they made sure that all 13 of their children made it to college. And it was only with the help of the Denver community that all 13 of us made it that far. It was every summer from the age of 7 all the way through high school that we rode our bike, all of us kids, down to City Park, from Park Hill to City Park, and played tennis in the recreation program from 8 in the morning until noon, every single day during the summer. I know the impact and the importance of recreation programs and the parks on Denver kids. And when I think about raising my own 3 girls in this community, I think about maintaining the parks to the standard that we all expect. We have a lot of new uses today, dog parks and mission-based events, and we're trying to fit those new uses into existing parks. That's a symptom of our larger problem. The biggest problem being, as our population grows, our parks have not grown. It's time to put aside a separate revenue fund for parks and recreation and make sure that this system grows along with our population. And that our children have the same kind of opportunities and the same access to parkland and recreation as we did growing up in this city. Thank you very much. You know, I too am proud of our park system, but it may come as some surprise that where Denver used to be ranked in the top 10 of number of parks per capita, or amount of park land per capita, that we've fallen out of almost every single category. In fact, a recent Trust for Public Land study showed that the only category in which Denver was in the top 10 around the country for similar sized cities was number of outdoor pools per capita. We've got a lot of work to do here, folks. We have 1/2 the amount of park acreage of places like Milwaukee and Nashville. 1/4 the amount of parkland in a place like El Paso. We've got a lot of work to do. When I was manager of Parks and Recreation in 99 to 03, we put it in place, and this was the last time we had a difficult budget time. We had 2 successive years of 10% budget cuts. 30% less water usage in a drought time, and we still managed to expand our system by 25%. The way that we were able to do that was we got small groups of employees together, and we brought issues from the ground up, from the front line, and asked people how to solve these issues. It's going to take that same kind of efficiencies first, but then again, expanding our system as our population grows. Thank you. Many of you have been to Confluence Park, where Cherry Creek and the Platte River convene and join. Along the park, along the banks of that river are some beautiful parks on both sides. But 20 years ago, that wasn't the same. It essentially was a dump. With the help of GOCO, in fact, when I was manager of Parks Recreation, with the help of GOCO, we brought the first grant that GOCO made to an urban area to Denver, and we created some of those parks in the Central Platte Valley. That's a valuable kind of partnership that GOCO brought to Denver Parks and Recreation. So GOCO was the first partnership that needs to be pursued. The second is with the business community. And in areas that are adjacent to businesses, the business community should be pitching in. When we renovated Skyline Park, a project that had been tried twice before. When we finished that park, the surrounding business community enjoyed it so much that they created a business improvement district. So instead of saddling the taxpayers with all that bill, the businesses contributed to the renovation of that park. And finally, the last one is Parks and Recreation has put into place a grants officer that has paid for itself within the first few months. That needs to happen and continue not only in Parks, but the rest of the city. Thank you. With regard to emission-based events, I believe that's, again, only a symptom. I will respect the public conversation that was held with regard to those. On the other hand, we need to solve the problem and not just a symptom of the problem. That is, we're trying to squeeze in too many new uses to neighborhood parks. Let's create more parks for new uses. Thank you. We absolutely need to have a dedicated funding stream for parks and open space. I've been working with the group for the last 2 years, which has included the Trust for Public Land, the Greenway Foundation, and many others that have looked at the different possibilities of where to pull that funding from. Before we do that, however, we've got to look at efficiencies, and in the end, between those two formulas, we'll put that fund aside. Thank you. You know, the rec system was born out of the 1970s when we had a lot of kids on the street with not very much to do. With that in mind, it has been very important then, it's still important now. And as we look at 7% of our kids graduating from high school, getting ready for college, being ready to go to college, there needs to be a much larger support system. Part of that support system needs to be the recreation system. And again, as someone who grew up in that system, and who also taught in that system, the recreation system will always be very important to the city and to me.